Hey viewers, and welcome back to another Star Wars Unlimited Leader Spotlight. In today's video we're going to be looking at another leader from Star Wars Unlimited second set, Shadows of the Galaxy. Disclaimer, this is not a meta-analysis. What that means is that the cards we talk about in today's video may not exactly be the best cards for each of these leaders that we talk about. Just some personal opinions. Which leads to the second point. This is my opinion. It's okay if you disagree with it, and there's a chance that I'm wrong, but the point isn't to be right, which was from the first point on this list. Point is to show some cool cards that works thematically with the leaders we're talking about. Finally, not every great card that I personally think works well with these leaders will make it into today's video. I could have forgotten it, and if I did forget your favorite card, leave it in the comment section below. So, Bossk. He is a aggression villainy leader with the underworld and bounty hunter keyword traits, or keywords, whatever they're officially called. He has the ability action, exhaust him, deal 1 damage to a unit with a bounty. You may give it +1 power for this phase. So, this ability works usually on your opponent's abilities, characters with bounties, but if you, knowing that you can't really control as much as you'd like to what shows up on your opponent's cards, this will also give you the ability to play cards with bounties in your own deck to allow you to buff it in power. But you don't really want to be doing that. Generally, you want to be dealing damage to your opponent's units and not giving them plus power. But if you control 5 or more resources, you can deploy him as a leader unit, and when you do, he's a 4/6. When you collect a bounty, you may collect that bounty again. It uses ability only once each round. So first off the bat, deploying at 5 with 4/6 stat line is actually pretty darn good. The thing you want to realize about Bossk, though, is that generally he's only good if you can get bounties onto your opponent's cards. Obviously, on his face ability, you can use it with bounties on your own cards, but it's just really not as beneficial as putting bounties on your opponent's cards and using it that way. So let's look at some cards that allow you to collect bounties on your opponent's cards, so you can hopefully collect them twice on his leader unit form. Dengar is a 1-cost aggression unit that says with a 2/2 stat line that says when you play an upgrade on a unit, deal 1 damage to that unit. Generally, this means when you play a bounty upgrade on an opponent's unit, you can then deal 1 damage to them. Punishing 1 is a 3-cost 3/4. When an upgraded enemy unit is defeated, you may ready this unit. Use this ability only once each round. So when you kill or defeat an opponent's unit with a bounty upgrade on it, you collect that bounty and you get to ready punishing 1. Obviously, this also works really well if you're playing against a Mandalorian deck and they have a bunch of upgrades on their unit anyway. Jango Fett's a 4-cost 3/6 that says while attacking a unit with a bounty, this unit gets +3 power and gains Overwhelm, which means that the excess damage he does over their HP value actually goes into your opponent's base. He also has another effect that says when this unit attacks and defeats a unit, draw a card. Kurzantan is a 5-cost 3/7. When played, if an enemy unit has bounty, you may ready him. So when he plays, he can come in and get right into the attacking. He has an on-attack ability that says choose a ground unit. You may deal 1 damage to it for each damage on this unit. This ability is really good because it doesn't have to be the unit he's attacking. So you can attack him with Kurzantan, deal 3 damage to the unit, maybe KO it, maybe collect a bounty, but then also use his ability to KO maybe a different unit and maybe collect another bounty. The Trandoshan Hunters are 5-cost 6/4 overwhelm units that says when played, if an enemy unit has a bounty, give an experience token to this unit. IG-11 is a 5-cost 6/5. If this unit would be captured, defeat him and deal 3 damage to each ground unit and enemy ground unit instead, which is a good ability. But also, when he attacks, you can deal 3 damage to a damaged ground unit. So you can use this ability to hopefully take some units off the field and collect their bounties. The Covetous Rivals are 6-cost 5/5 grit. This is when played and also on attack, you may deal 2 damage to a unit with a bounty. We'll use a card like the Seventh Sister, 5-cost 3/6 with Saboteur. Saboteur is really good because generally when you're playing against your opponent's deck, if they have a unit with a bounty on it, or if they see you put a bounty on one of their units, they may try their best to protect him by using Citadel or Shield tokens. Saboteur allows you to walk right past that. She also has another effect that says when this unit deals combat damage to an enemy base or to an opponent's base, you may deal 3 damage to a ground unit that opponent controls. So this may allow you to soften up another unit or cross KO it and take a bounty. Parallel Interceptor is the same idea, 4-cost 3/2, or either the same idea in the terms of he's going to allow you to, when you play him, deal 3 damage to a space unit, and soften up an enemy unit, and hopefully, you could even collect a bounty off this effect, but also maybe make it that much closer to getting its bounty collected. The Ruthless Raiders is 6-cost 4/6, Imperial Vehicle Capital Ship. This is when played and when defeated, deal 2 damage to an enemy base and 2 damage to an enemy unit. Obviously, a lot of the times now, when you're playing with this deck, you're gonna be looking to collect those bounties by attacking to your opponent's units, which means sometimes you may not be pushing base damage as much as you should be. So having effects that allow you to deal raw base damage is good as well. Give into your anger is an event that says deal 1 damage to an enemy unit. Its controller's next action in this phase must be an attack action with that unit if able. It must attack a unit if able. So this ability has a lot of different applications. You can use it on a unit that has an exhaust ability that your opponent wouldn't want to attack with, and you can essentially force them to waste that character without really having much repercussion. You can use it on units with bounty on it. So say they're playing some sentinel units and you don't have any saboteur, and so you want to attack this bounty unit, but you can't because they have a sentinel. Use this on that bounty unit. Now the bounty unit has attacked you. Hopefully you'll kill him on the retaliation and collect the bounty, or deal more damage to him so you can use a instant or burn damage effect to collect that bounty. There are a lot of different ways you can use this. Ultimately, I think it's just a cool addition to this particular deck. Headhunting is a 2-cost attack with up to 3 units, one at a time. They can attack bases for these attacks. Each bounty hunter that attacks this way gets +2 power for this attack. So obviously you're gonna be playing a lot of bounty. You're gonna be trying to collect a lot of bounties. It'll make sense that you're playing a lot of bounty hunters. So this card is going to allow you to attack with them, and hopefully give +2 attack on each one of those attacks. Detention Block rescues a 3-cost, deal 3 damage to a unit. If that unit is guarding any captured units, deal 6 damage instead. So if your opponent is playing a deck that wants to capture units, usually another bounty collecting deck, this is going to allow you to deal a massive 6 damage for the cost of 3. And even dealing 3 damage for the cost of 3 isn't really that bad. So ultimately, it's a pretty good value for its cost. Bravado is a 5-cost card that says if you defeat an enemy unit this phase, this event costs 2 less to play. Then it just says ready a unit. So ultimately, you're going to be trying to kill a lot of units during your turn. So it's not completely unlikely by the time you get around to turn 3, you'll already have been taking units off the board, and you'll be able to play this for 3 and ready a unit and keep on swinging, maybe into the base after you cleared out other units, or into another unit to collect some more bounties, or and so on and so forth. Aggression, if you're going the double aggression route, or even if you're not going the double aggression route, is a pretty cool card here. It says 4-cost, choose 2 in any order. Draw a card, defeat up to 2 upgrades, return a unit, ready a unit with 3 less power, and deal 4 damage to a unit. Obviously, the last 2 effects here is what you're really going to be focusing on. Readying a unit with 3 less power and dealing 4 damage to a unit. Readying the units will allow you to deal some more attacks, and dealing 4 damage to a unit is going to allow you to maybe take a unit off the board and collect a bounty on it. Ruthlessness is a 1-cost +2 power upgrade, so it's going to give you a more aggressive output. Attach unit gains when this unit attacks and defeats the unit, deal 2 damage to the defending player's base. Again, you're going to be trying your best to defeat units, so finding ways to deal some raw base damage is good as well. Gale targets one of these bounty upgrades that I talked about throughout this video. If you don't know, in this set, a bunch of every single color has gotten a bounty upgrade, and each of them do something a little different. And a bounty essentially says that when a unit with a bounty ability, when it's defeated or gets captured through any effect, their opponent, the person who does not control that unit, gets to collect its bounty. So for example, Gale targets a 0-cost upgrade +0/+0. You're supposed to play it on your opponent's unit, and the attached unit gains bounty, deal 2 damage to a base. If this unit is unique, deal 3 damage instead. So you put this on a guy, you kill that guy, you deal 2 damage to your opponent's base. Or 3. Death Mark's a 2-cost bounty upgrade +0/+0. The bounty is draw 2 cards. Remembrance Flamethrower is a 3-cost +1/+1 attached to a non-vehicle unit. Attached unit gains on attack. You may deal 3 damage divided as you choose among enemy ground units. Spreading out your damage may be a way so that you can knock out multiple units at one time and collect multiple bounties. You can also use this to soften up one unit by dealing just 3 damage to that one unit. And a lot of different ways you can split up this damage, that you can use it to maybe collect multiple bounties, soften up multiple units to collect multiple bounties, and so on and so forth. On to command, we have the Effet Mon. He is a 5-cost 4/6. On attack, choose an enemy non-leader unit that attacked your base's phase. A friendly unit in the same arena captures that unit. Obviously, capturing units is going to allow you to collect bounties on them, so it's maybe something you want to look into. And that's really what command does best when it comes to collecting bounties. Finalizers 11 cost 11/11. Overwhelm. When played, choose any number of friendly units. Each of those units captures an enemy non-leader unit in the same arena. Reputable Hunter is a 3 cost 3/4 that says if an enemy unit has a bounty, this costs 1 less to play. So he's a 2 cost 3/4 if you're playing against a unit with a bounty. He's also a bounty hunter, so ultimately you're going to get him for decent value. Not exactly the most powerful card in the world, but if you're playing a bounty deck, maybe it's something you may want to play. Discerning Veterans, 5 cost 3/4 bounty hunter. When played, this unit captures an enemy non-leader ground unit. It's that simple. Rook is a 5 cost 3/6 shielded unit that says when this unit deals combat damage to a non-leader unit while attacking, defeat that unit. So even if he's not strong enough to KO whatever unit you're trying to collect the bounty on, you're going to be able to use this effect and collect that bounty. The Blizzard Assault AT-AT is an 8 cost, 9 power, 9 HP unit that says when this unit attacks and defeats a unit, you may deal the excess damage from this attack to an enemy ground unit. The obvious plan here is you attack with this unit into a unit, you defeat that unit, you collect its bounty, or not even, and deal that excess damage to another unit and kill that unit and collect its bounty, or the other way around, you collect the bounty, just soften up another unit to collect a bounty on it. It doesn't really matter. The point is, this is going to allow you to potentially collect 2 bounties in one go, and ultimately kill 2 units in one go. So there's that as well. Commission is a 1 cost event that says search the top 10 cards of your deck for a bounty hunter item or transport card, reveal it, draw it. You can also smuggle it in for 3. Obviously, you're going to be searching for bounty hunters a lot with this card, but you can also use it to search for some sort of transport that's going to help your deck as well, or maybe some items you might end up playing, like the Vampirant's Flamethrower. Take Captive is a 3 cost event that says a friendly unit captures an enemy non-leader unit in the same arena. Simply put, you pay 3 to essentially collect a bounty on any unit you want. Although your opponent has a chance of getting them back, it doesn't really matter because you can, if they get them back and their bounty is an 8, like it's printed on the card, that's more bounties for you to collect. Bounty Hunter's Quarry is a 1 cost bounty upgrade that says +3 or +0. Patch unit gains bounty. Search the top 5 cards of your deck or top 10 instead if this unit is unique for a unit that costs 3 or less and play it for free. So obviously you're paying 1 to get 3 a cost of value from the top 5 cards of your deck. It's if you're gonna be playing the Bounty Hunter package, it doesn't get much better than this. Legal Authority is a 2 cost card that says +0 +2 HP. Attached to friendly unit. When played, attached unit captures an enemy non-leader unit with less power than it. Obviously, you use this collected bounty on an enemy unit. Press on your head is a 2 cost bounty upgrade that says attached unit gains bounty. Put the top card of your deck into play as a resource. Cunning. Cunning actually has quite a few good options when it comes to bounty hunting and Bossk in general. Hunter of the Hexen Brood is 3 cost 4/3 Underworld Bounty Hunter. While an enemy unit has a bounty, this gains shielded, so when you put him into play, he gets the shield token. Slave Freighter is a 5 cost 4/5. When played, if you may ready another unit with power equal or less than the number of upgrades on enemy units. Obviously, this is going to allow you to really have a good. It's a good card into a lot of Mandalorian and upgrade decks. But obviously, if you're putting a lot of bounty hunter upgrades on your enemy's units, this would also allow you to ready a card with decent power on your side of the field to attack and maybe collect one of those bounties. Chain Code Collector is a 4 cost 4/2 ambush. It says on attack, if the defender has a bounty, it gets -4 for this attack. So you can throw that guy down, ambush him, as long as your opponent's unit has a base power of 5 or less, then you can actually kill him without killing yourself because you do only have 2 HP. Boba Fett's a really great card. He's also a bounty hunter, 3 cost 3/5. On attack, if this unit is attacking an exhausted unit that didn't interplay this round, deal 3 damage to the defender. Greed is a 1 cost 3/1. Defeated, you may discard the top card of your deck, or rather, in actual words, discard a card from your deck. If it's not a unit, deal 2 damage to a ground unit. You're playing a lot of bounty upgrades, probably a lot of events as well to deal some indirect damage, capture some units. So you probably have a good chance of hitting this and dealing that 2 damage to a ground unit. Bounty Posting is a really great card here. 1 cost, search your deck for a bounty upgrade, reveal it, draw it, and you may play it. Of course, you still have to pay its cost, but it's going to let you search your entire deck for any bounty upgrade you need at this particular moment and play it onto one of your opponent's units, so that you can hopefully collect it this phase or just any time in the future. It really doesn't matter when. Swoop down to 1 cost tactic that says attack with a space unit. It gains Saboteur and can attack ground units for this attack. If it attacks a ground unit, it gets +2 power, and the defender gets -2 power for this attack. Obviously, you're going to be attacking a lot into enemy units, so you want your units to probably stay alive as much as possible. So your ability to reduce your opponent's damage output is good. Dealing more damage increases the likelihood of you actually killing that unit and collecting that bounty. And Saboteur is going to allow you to ignore any sentinels or shields that may want to stop you. Relentless Pursuit's a 3-cost tactic that says choose a friendly unit. It captures an enemy non-leader unit that costs the same or less than it. If the friendly unit is a bounty hunter, give a shield token to it. It's going to allow you to capture a bounty. It's going to allow you to get an annoying threat off the board a lot of the times. And it's going to allow you to put a shield token on one of your units. All in all, it's a pretty good card for its cost. And then we have Surprise Strike, the 2-cost attack with the unit. It gives +3 power for this attack. Obviously, it's not the most exciting, flashy card in the world, but a lot of the times you're going to need a little more damage to maybe make a defeat happen on attack, and this may be the thing that gives you that edge. Wanted is an upgrade, Bounty Hunter upgrade, 0 cost, bounty is ready, 2 friendly resources. Enticing Rewards, a 1-cost bounty upgrade that says bounty, search the top 10 cards of your deck for 2 non-unit cards, reveal them and draw them. Then, if this unit isn't unique, discard a card from your hand. Obviously, you're probably going to look for some more bounty upgrades through this bounty effect, but some other events can be really great options as well. And obviously, if the unit you put this on is not unique, you'll have to discard a card. Unrefusable offer is a 2-cost bounty upgrade that says attach to a non-leader unit. Attach unit gains bounty. Play this unit for free under your control, and it enters play ready. At the end of the start of the regroup phase, defeat the unit. So you kill a unit, you get to use it for a turn, and then it goes away. For 2 costs, you can use this on, even though not your opponent's a leader unit, obviously, you can use this on their biggest of units, their most powerful of cards, and you can use this to put them into play under your control. On to Vigilance. Vigilance does not have a lot of cards that interact with bounties or bounty hunters, but there are still some good options, really good options actually, for that type of deck. The Client is a 3-cost card that says 2/5, shielded. Action, exhaust him, choose a unit. For this phase, it gains bounty, heal 5 damage from your base. Obviously, it's not the most powerful bounty ability, doesn't really help with your overall game plan, but it is healing, and it's 5 healing at that, and it's a bounty ability that you don't have to pay anything once the guy's on the field to get access to. Supreme Leader Snoke is a cost 6/6, enemy non-leader unit, skate -2/-2. This is going to make them easier to kill, and make them harder for them to kill you, so it's going to be a lot easier to attack into them and collect those bounties. Death Troop is a 3-cost 3/3. When played, deal 2 damage to a friendly ground unit and 2 damage to an enemy ground unit. It sucks that you have to deal damage to your own units, but dealing that 2 damage on turn 2 to an enemy ground unit is really good, solving them up for them to be knocked down and collect a bounty on them. Count Dooku is a 7-cost 5/4 shielded unit that says when played, you may defeat a unit with 4 or less remaining HP. This ability is really good on its own, but when you're taking into account that defeating this unit through effect like this still allows you to collect a bounty on it, it comes even better in this deck. The Avengers, the 9-cost 8/8. When played on attack, an opponent chooses a non-leader unit they control and defeats that unit. Same idea as Dooku. Calculated Lethality is one of the most powerful cards for your deck if you're playing Vigilance. It's a 4-cost, defeat a non-leader unit that costs 3 or less. For each upgrade that unit that was on that unit, give an experience token to a friendly unit. So you put one bounty hunter upgrade onto your opponent, maybe multiple, potentially. You kill them with this effect, and you get to collect all those. You get to collect the bounty, and then you also get to give multiple experience tokens to your units. Now, when it comes to events and Vigilance, there's a ton of Vigilance events that allow you to straight up just defeat opponents' units. And your choice of which ones you want to play is really up to you. There's some better ones in certain situations against certain decks, and depending on the metagame, there's probably the right answer to this question. But, for example, we have Fellow Dragon, 4-cost, defeat a unit with a non-leader unit with 5 or more remaining power. Takedown, 4-cost, defeat a unit with 5 or less remaining HP. The thing about it is that I do like Takedown more than like Fellow Dragon, simply because you can use it to defeat a leader unit, and then also because it allows you to defeat wider variety of units in terms of cost and power level. Because even the most powerful units that have a ton of HP, eventually they're probably going to have 5 or less remaining HP, and when that happens, you can play takedown to get rid of them. And then obviously Thaw the Dragon, it only works with very specific units, and it's very unlikely that your opponent's going to get a lot of power on weaker units that you may want to get rid of. Rivals Falls, a 6-cost card that came out in Set 2 that just says defeat a unit. Any unit. Doesn't matter their cost or them being a leader or not, but it is 6 cost. The other option is Vanquish, 5 cost, defeat a non-leader unit. So it's a very similar card. It just depends if you want to pay that 1 extra to be able to defeat your opponent's leader units. Power of the Dark Side is a 3-cost card that says an opponent chooses a unit they control and defeats that unit. Obviously, you're putting the choice into the hands of your opponent, but you can be strategical with this as well. Normally, when you're playing something like Power of the Dark Side, your opponent's going to choose the unit they want the least, obviously. But if you put a bounty on the unit they want the least and not one on the unit they want the most, now the choice becomes a little harder. They can either defeat the unit that they really want to keep around, or more likely, they're going to defeat the unit that has a bounty on it, even though they don't want to. Obviously, if your opponent has a ton of units, it's really hard to make this a positive, but it is the cheapest removal option that you have access to as a vigilance villainy player. Super Laser Blast, you can't go without talking about this card. 8 cost, defeat all units, yours, your opponent's, leaders, non-leaders, no matter their cost or remaining HP. This card can be really good because it's going to allow you to potentially collect multiple bounties all in one fell swoop. It's going to allow you to potentially clear the board if the game's really not going in your way and your opponent is showing lethal damage on board. It's a lot of usage you can get out of this card in this deck in particular. Just be careful because sometimes you might draw this card and either it's an 8-cost card. If you're playing this, it's probably going to take out your entire turn. Or you have units on the field that you actually really need to even have a hope of winning the game. And it's not going to be as simple as just killing them and hoping you can make the comeback. Public Enemy is a bounty upgrade, 0 cost. It says bounty, give a shield token to a unit. Top target is a 1-cost bounty upgrade. Bounty, hail 4 damage from a unit or base, and if the unit is unique, hail 6 instead. Entrenched is an interesting card because people don't talk about it much. It's a 2-cost, can't be the unit. The attached unit can't attack bases, but it gives you a massive +3/+3 stat line. And when your main focus of your deck is attacking your opponent's units, that's just amazing for its cost. +3/+3 permanently. Until, of course, the unit dies or the upgrade is defeated. On to the pure villainy cards. We have Ruthless Assassin, a 2-cost, 3/3 Underworld Bounty Hunter with Overwhelm. The downside, of course, of these good stats and good ability is that when you play him, you have to deal 2 damage to a friendly unit. Korra Calican is a 3-cost, 3/5 Bounty Hunter. This is when you play another Bounty Hunter unit, you may deal 1 damage to it. And if you do, ready this unit. You can only use this ability once each round. Obviously, the goal here is you attack a unit, ready, attack another unit. Admiral Monty is a 2-cost 1/1. When defeated, you get to ready a villainy unit. It's going to allow you to ready up any one of your units that you may need to continue the assault on your opponent's units. Altering the Dale is a really cool one if you're going for the capturing deck. So if you're playing Command, usually it's a 1-cost trick that says discard a captured guarded card by a friendly unit. Guarded means that it was captured by that unit. When you capture a card, I'm sorry if I didn't explain this earlier, you take the card and you put it under the unit who's capturing it. And when that unit is defeated, your opponent, that unit that you captured, re-enters play under your opponent's control. So with this effect, though, you can discard that unit no matter how powerful it is to potentially just essentially kill it. So obviously it's a more roundabout way of doing it, but you can use this as a removal option as well. On to the cards with no aspect symbols. Bounty Hunter Guild Initiative is a 1-cost 1/2. This is when played, if you control another Bounty Hunter unit, you may deal 2 damage to a ground unit. And Rich Reward is a Bounty Hunter upgrade that's 1 cost. It says bounty, give an experience token to up to 2 units. And that's going to be it. That is going to be the total leader spotlight on Bossk. Now, what do I think about Bossk? I really, really like Bossk. He's one of my favorite leaders from the newest set. He has a very aggressive game plan and a very straightforward game plan, but there's a lot of fun in trying to make it happen. Collecting bounties, playing bounties on your opponent's units. If your opponent is playing any bounty units themselves, which is not always going to be the case, but it might end up happening, and you might be able to take advantage of that. All in all, he's a really cool leader. Maybe not the best leader in the game, but one of my favorites, and he's going to allow you to have a lot of aggressive fun, and he's going to allow you to have a very straightforward game plan. That's me all for today's video. Hope you guys come back for more videos in the future and take a look at more leaders that we shine the spotlight on in this series. Hope to see you guys then. Well, that's going to be all for now, but if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys go ahead and watch some of our other videos that we've made on this channel. Also, give this video a like if you thoroughly enjoyed it. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our future content. And I hope to see you guys back at the roost.